Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Toasted Tale podcast. My name is Jim, and today I want to talk about an event that happened recently to me, which blew my mind. It's not often that you are able to be faced with a thought realization which stops you dead in your tracks and changes your view on the world you live in. I was very lucky recently to discover a word which perfectly described a deep-seated, set, almost family of emotions that only after reading the description of this word almost beautifully, poetically summed up thoughts I had been feeling for years. And to call it a feeling is maybe a disservice. It is a cocktail, a tycoon, a mixer of thoughts, feelings, a worldview that, and I warn you all now listening, can be very prone to causing an existential crisis. And that word is Sonder. Now, the description that came from the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, which is a website blog, is as follows. And I'd love you to listen to this because it just hit me like a train. Quote, Sonder. The realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own. Populated with their own ambitions, friends, routines, worries, and inherited craziness. An epic story that continues invisibly around you like an anthill, sprawling deep underground, with elaborate passageways to thousands of other lives that you'll never know existed, in which you might appear only once, as an extra sipping coffee in the background, as a blur of traffic passing on the highway, as a lighted window at dusk. End quote. I love that description. It encapsulates that grandiose feeling of small tininess that is our lives, surrounded by so many others. And I guess it would be quite easy to become discouraged or overwhelmed by the understanding of the sheer amount of other storylines and events that are happening around you that don't involve you and actually pay no attention to you as the main character of your own story. I instead try to remind myself of a different way of looking at it, a different perspective, whenever these thoughts wash over me. How amazing is it that we exist in a machine of society? We are all small cogs that whir around, and every person or object we interact with has the potential to bounce into another person and interact with them also, having a knock-on effect, a ripple through your social circle, through the people that you interact with and meet. Every time you have an interaction with someone, you are affecting their lives. You are adding threads of the story to their story, and in turn, your tale becomes all the more richer as well. I've got a close friend who is a joiner. He works with his hands and he crafts and builds beautiful pieces of furniture. Every time he makes a piece of furniture for someone, he is providing an addition to that person's life. Something they didn't have before, a new dimension. In the grand scheme of things, it may be small, but the work that he creates is the next stage in the journey of the materials a description and show of the time and energy he put into making these pieces, and then may last for hundreds of years, impacting slowly people who use the object. That's just one example, but we have opportunities to bounce into other people's lives every single day. We have the option to add positivity to people's lives every single day, as well as negativity. There is the choice. And for all of you who, when given the option to make something, you do it with positivity, I applaud you. For those of you who, when you have interactions with others, you ensure that your joy and happiness comes through. For those of you who choose to use the power you hold through the interactions you have with the world, then I truly believe we all get to move the dial on the grand barometer of life. The more positive interactions you put out there, the more positivity there is in the world. Call me hooky, I don't care. But I do like the idea that as humans we are, almost by design, separate streams of existence whirring around on this planet, but in another way, interconnected with everything and everyone we touch. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Toasted Tale podcast. I've really enjoyed exploring Sonder and why its description hit me so hard. If you enjoyed listening to today's episode, then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook. My handle is @podcasttale. It's there where I release new episodes and also where any thoughts and feelings that I have going through my days gets posted as well. That's @podcasttale for more. I hope that you all have a lovely rest of day and anything you attempt goes through with success. I look forward to speaking to you all again soon for another Toasted Tale by the fireside.